have a helper with me today. Hi, what have you helped me with so far?
Cracking.
You cracked how many?
8 eggs.
It will go on there. 8 eggs.
I put oats in the blender.
Okay, and what are we going to do? Do you know what we're going to do with the oats in the blender?
Blend them.
And what does it become? Oat flour. Oat flour, yeah. All right, we're going to do a frittata tonight. I wanted to show y'all. If you have never cooked with an iron skillet, I highly recommend them, but I will admit, when I first got one, I was very unfamiliar with it and didn't really know what I was doing. Once it's seasoned, it is honestly really easy to use and easy to cook with. There's a bunch of oil in there because I'm about to add a bunch of veggies and stuff. I just wanted to show you what it looked like before it heated up. But if you actually learned, because when I got that one, it was kind of rusted over and nasty. And I just like Google searched, you know, ways to restore an iron skillet. And it worked. So it sounds weird, but it told me to sprinkle salt all inside of the skillet and all around it. And then cut a potato in half and then scrub it with the potato. And oddly enough, it really cleaned off all the rust. And now it's just a beautiful black iron skillet. Anyways, I obviously cured it and stuff after all the scrubbing of the potato. You know, you put oil all over it and you let it like bake basically in the oven for quite some time. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to be using tonight. We're going to go and put this here. They're trying to get it to where you can see me and my helper. Let me see. Let me see. I don't know. Amaya, you're so far away. Maybe.
I can move my stool over there.
Well, if you can move your stool over here, yeah. We'll try to move her stool over here a little bit. All right, so I am just going to be pretty simple. I'm going to do onions and bell peppers and kale, and then I am going, oh, thank you. Yeah, well, you know, it is crazy. Like, I was so scared to cook with it, and I think on the bottom, you know, it might still have a tiny bit of rust, but for the most part, it really helped. As it was so weird, but potato and salt, that'll clean your nasty cast iron. If you get one, like, given to you, especially if it's like a hand-me-down, they can be pretty pricey. So if you get one given to you, even if it's rusted over, there are ways to restore it. Okay, Amaya, here we go. In goes our onions and our bell peppers. Okay, you want to stir them around a little bit? Yeah, this one got hot. Maybe did you squish your toe? Yeah, you squished your toe. Here, walk to Daddy, he can help you. All right, she's going to help me stir that a little bit. I'm going to add only 1 stalk of kale because a little goes a long way with leafy kale. All right, here we go. So, I'm making waffles. So I said, we need some extra protein and some veggies in this meal. So that's why I decided to go with the little frittata. You could do a quiche as well. I just don't want to mess with the crust and all that. Although crusted quiche is delicious, but I just didn't want to go through the trouble of mixing up dough and everything to do that. So I'm not. So I'm just going to put the kale right in there. And now I'm going to show y'all this sausage. And I know everything is backwards and that's kind of annoying. But it's a Jimmy Dean, but they have an all-natural sausage, and I definitely recommend this one over a lot of other options out there. There's really pretty few brands of sausage that we get because they just tend to have a lot of added ingredients. A lot of them have nitrites or nitrates. A lot of them, we were talking about MSG yesterday, a lot of them will have some form of autolyzed yeast extract or MSG or something like that to give it, I guess, a more salty flavor or something. This one I got at Kroger only once, and it was amazing. I found a huge, like 3-pound package of this at Costco for a really great price. But I don't have that, so I'm only going to use half of it. So this is about $3.50, I think. like a pound, so I'm only using half of it. I'm gonna save the rest. I'll probably do something like make a sweet potato hash is really good with breakfast sausage. So I might do that later on this week. Breakfast sausage and sweet potatoes, onions, and kale, that would be delicious. All right, so I'm going to, what I typically do after my veggies have cooked some, and I showed y'all a little bit last night with the rice, but I'm gonna do the same thing with my meat. I just kind of push all my veggies to the outer edges. And then I'm going to squeeze my meat right in the middle. And then what you want to do, Amaya, is you want to start breaking it up. You don't want it to be a big chunk. You want to break it up in some smaller pieces, okay? There we go. You work on that. And all I'm going to do, the reason I'm using the cast iron instead of that one, I really am in the market for a bigger cast iron, because this one is maybe an 8-inch pan, and it's kind of small as our family is growing. I started using an iron skillet actually at the recommendation of my midwife, because every time I've been pregnant, I have been really anemic and always struggled with like keeping my iron levels up. And so cooking with an iron skillet at least gives you trace amounts of iron that get into your food. And so that's another benefit of it. But the specific reason I'm using it tonight is because it can go straight into the oven, unlike a lot of other cookware. Now, if you have a Dutch oven, that's on my list of things I would love to have that I don't have yet. But this can go in the oven, and so that way I can just do it all in one pan. So I'm gonna saute my veggies, I'm gonna brown my meat, and I'm just gonna pour my eggs on top, let them cook for like 2 minutes on the stove, and then put the whole thing in the oven for probably 15 or 20 minutes, I think, should cook my eggs. All right, so it's coming along pretty well. Is your hand getting hot? Yeah, when you're stirring, sometimes your hand gets a little hot, doesn't it? Oh, it is warm. Yeah, it's like you've been outside in the summer days. All right, you keep breaking that up, yeah? Break that up. Okay, so that's going to go in the oven, and while that is cooking, the next thing I'm going to do is make waffles. Now, I desperately need a new waffle maker, because the little stand thing, it's supposed to stand, but I don't have that, but it still works just fine. They gave this to us at like our wedding shower, and I didn't use it for a couple years. And then when I started using it, I was like, this thing is amazing. I'm gonna make some waffles, and I actually use 2 different recipes, because I use one that's gluten and dairy free, and then I'll also make regular like flour waffles. The reason I do them differently, the oat flour ones are really good, but they do not, you know how waffles, they kind of have that outer layer that gets kind of crisp? The oat flour doesn't quite do that as much, and so I will sometimes do both of them. So again, to make my oat flour, it's super easy. I just put oats in my Vitamix, and I just blend it up, and it turns it into flour right before my very eyes, and it's wonderful. So I'm gonna do that today, and hopefully my waffles are gonna be done approximately the same time as my my frittata here. So Amaya had already cracked my eggs for me. I'm gonna bring you closer for a second. Ah, you're flying through my kitchen. Okay, and then I'm gonna show y'all, point it down. Okay, so I'm not really going to stir my eggs. Like, this is kind of basically gonna be the bottom of the frittata, and the eggs are just gonna go right in on top. And I might need to add 1 or 2 more eggs, only for the sake of wanting them to kind of cover up all that I have in the pan here. So since we're not going to be stirring it later, I'm trying to make sure, you know, that not all the veggies are in one place, and all the meat, if it's that was like a lot of onions in one clump. All right, I'm just kind of spreading it out, and now I'm going to just kind of flatten it down a little bit here. I also sometimes make something very similar, but is bigger. I do like a breakfast casserole. It's basically this same thing, but I in a 9x12, like a big baking. In a big baking dish, I'll put a package of frozen hash browns, and then I'll scatter this stuff all on top, and then I'll pour a bunch of eggs over that, and that's really good too. And we'll feed a bit more people because the hash browns are in there. But I don't have any hash browns, unfortunately, so I'm not going to be doing that. So I'm just going to pour it over like this. Oh, okay, perfect. I don't think I need any more eggs. I think that looks good. You can see that everything is fully covered, and my eggs are on top, and my veggies and everything else are on bottom. So I'm only going to cook this for 2 minutes there, and I don't really want bubbles. I'm going to pop my bubbles during this 2 minutes, and then I'm going to put it in the oven to actually cook the eggs.
Can I?
We're just, well, I'm not really stirring it, and it's really hot at this point. It's really, really hot. Okay. This will just crisp up the edge a little bit since we're not doing a crust. It'll, look at that big bubble coming. I know, but it's really hot. I don't want it to burn you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. There we go. All right, so I'm about to put that in the oven. Hey, Wanda.
Hey, Wanda.
Maya is helping me cook over here.
Hi, Jen.
Maya is helping me. All right, and I'm gonna let y'all go because I'll make waffles later and y'all can see me, but I'm gonna focus here. But I just wanted to say the last of the banana breads and the pumpkin breads were picked up yesterday, and I will be posting the how-to, the take and make video. I will be posting that. It takes you step by step of how to make either pumpkin or banana bread. So it's really cool because the recipes are similar and just slightly different. So you can easily do both of them. And then tomorrow, I will announce what I'm going to make next. And I would love for y'all to go ahead and get your spot and make an order. It's definitely going to be something. I know my kids are always hungry. I'm always hungry. My husband's always hungry. So hopefully these are just a blessing to you guys who are like, what in the world else am I supposed to eat? Or can I just please not cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the 100th time? So I want it to be a blessing to you guys. So I will be rolling out with what we're going to be serving tomorrow. So I already know. I'm really excited to share with you guys, but you have to wait. So just be looking for the take and make video about the banana bread, and let me know if you try it at home. If you did order some, let me know how you liked it.